Be present in over 100 experiences covering 20 genres. Virtual Presence Productions.
We're recording. Okay. All that shit done, that shit's going to be in here. Hi. Welcome to Virtual Presence Podcast. First one of 2025. With me is...
Hey, how you doing? Kuya Quattro.
Kuya.
I'm saying this.
I was going to say Kuya again. It's Kuya.
It's right here, Kuya.
I understand, but I can read that out.
But I the way I delivered that line, hi, Kuya, right. How you doing, is for the VR viewer, right? I've learned a lot about directing for immersive. So the way that I'm addressing you is how I would a person. But if this was 2D and you're watching this podcast on flat, or you have it on your second monitor because you're supposed to be working, so you're just listening in, let me do the content, the real like content creator kind of intro. Yo, what's good? Kuya Quattro, aka Kuya David, aka Digital David, out here in the building, aka the Virtuographer. We out here. You know, I'm out here like a solo and no-ho dolo with the bro, Mr. Adam Contrast, Virtual Presence Productions, out here trying to advocate for VR180. And shout out to VR180 Massive. You know, like we're glad to have you here.
But that's sometimes a little too much if a motherfucker's sitting right there.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that that's right. 2D behavior.
I understand.
Right? And that's that's something I want to get into like later on in this conversation.
I appreciate you giving two separate ways to do this
because that's how I watch and listen to this podcast.
Right.
I do 2D and then I really listen while I'm supposed to be working.
And my good friends, they actually go in the headset.
His good friends.
Right. Well, I think what's interesting, if you've been here, it's not as cool. If you've never been here, like this was the set for Fastest DeLorean.
Yeah.
Me and Don sat here. Like, I've had people come from around the world to sit here and take a picture. Like, so they are excited to be actually sitting at that. And it feels like you're sitting here when you put that headset on. It's great.
I'm very glad that you're here.
Yes.
It's a little cold, but I'm sure that you're all warm and toasty wherever you're at.
Let me this is the January 25 podcast. This is a monthly podcast. This is episode 13, and I decided I'm going to put the numbers up there now. Look at that. They're behind you, all way behind you. You might want to go the other way. See?
Oh,
13. Okay, it's a little tiny bit, but
sure.
with VR180, you get to look all the way over there and see the episode.
Swell.
The reason I called Kuya.
Yeah.
I say Kuya. I see Kuya.
It's an honorific, which means older brother in Filipino.
Okay.
Kuya. That's it.
Got
Kuya.
it. Reason I'm having here is because he was the very first guest we had. On the very first podcast we did, there was a Virtual Presence podcast. I had one before, Flashing the Fundamentals, still do it whenever. And you happened to be here 48 hours before like one of the biggest face plants of my life. And I'd like to rebrand you,
right?
Because I didn't have a good taste in my mouth because it was like, oh my god, because I don't think I released it until after the Super Bowl news.
January 2025 now. When was that episode?
January 24 and 24. It was exactly a year ago.
Exactly.
So I mean, if you watched the year-end video, I kind of showed what happened, but right after we did our podcast, that Monday morning, I got a call, a text, an email actually, saying that the Super Bowl shoot was canceled. They announced a merger, NFL Media, with ESPN Disney, and that froze everything and eventually just took it off the table. So last time you were here, we were all excited talking about it, and then it all went away, and all of last year in 24 was me rebuilding the brand and trying to figure out, okay, what do I do?
Right.
So I took that reel around, and it was an incredible year. I got in with a guy at Bally Sports, which is now FanDuel Sports Network, and got to shoot the NBA, shoot the NHL, was also able to get to shoot LeBron James at Media Day, and put together a fucking incredible reel of sports. Also went to New Zealand and shot Olympic sports people. That was around the same time. Just put together an incredible reel. Where we are right now is a series of meetings that seem to never fucking end. But they're all positive. Like, I have a meeting tomorrow with a guy at USC Marshall School who is best friends with Pete Carroll, and he's in Vegas with him right now at his...
Pete Carroll?
Yeah.
Who's that?
Raiders coach.
Okay.
Raiders head coach. He's in Vegas. He just got...
I don't watch ball sports.
All right, it's all right.
I watch boxing.
All right, okay, yeah. Did you see my Lucha Libre? Yeah. That was fun as shit, right?
Yeah. Basically, Mr. Adam over here, he's, since the NFL thing kind of got rug pulled from him, he's got into all these opportunities of recording and capturing professional sports between NHL, NBA, really cool shit, really exclusive shit, really big money professional shit. He's been getting into all of these meetings.
Right.
But
they continue. Well, there's a lot of buts because they're still in flux.
Right.
The biggest thing I'm running into is you shoot something. They approve it. We go ahead. We shoot it. You take it back to them. They're like, holy shit, this is incredible. All right, I got to talk to my guy, and we'll get. And it's in that. It's them trying to talk to the next person up who doesn't understand. Who they're like, okay, just email me the information. We'll talk. And they're like, can't really email you the information. We really need you to sit down, set aside time. We have to put this on you. And they're like, ugh. And that's where almost with every single team, there's a disconnect. But the problem is even if you get to that next level, there's still a few more. The response is so beat you over the head good that you leave the meeting going, okay, well, fuck, that was really, really good. Like,
but that was just level one within the chain of approvals.
Right, but I mean, it's not even that. I mean, I'm talking to the head people at the Clippers, right? And I think what is missing is God, you know what? I don't know what's missing exactly. But I know I keep getting to the meetings. No one's saying no yet, right? But I mean, not saying anything is kind of like no. It's rare that what happened with Hansen happened. And that actually fucked me up last year. You know about the Hansen story, right?
Yeah. A big problem is in trying to create consumer awareness, audience awareness about it is it's very difficult to visually express that on a 2D medium.
Almost
impossible. So if you're trying to do it through social, through YouTube, through any form of traditional media out there, it still doesn't quite encapsulate it because I've had to when I did my music virtue last year, which won several awards and nominated for several awards. But anyway, we'll get there.
I'll throw this.
When I was trying to pitch that to the artist, like I was trying to explain to her, it's like, oh, it's like you're in there. It's like from first person perspective, da da da. I had to explain it 20 different types of ways. And even showing her, in a headset, like something else I've done. And then once she saw that, that's the only time she got it. But every analogy, every metaphor, every
there's a secret.
Prose, I was like, it's very difficult to visually express.
There's a secret to how you do it flat, and you figured this out too. Reaction videos.
Yeah.
It's reaction videos. That's the only way, because I wish I could have a goddamn camera on the people that I showed this stuff to last year and have them, some of the biggest people at Spectrum literally were like, this is Backstage Lakers 2030. What the hell? And they put it back. They're like, oh my God, how? Like losing it. And they couldn't believe what they were seeing.
Reaction videos is like one part of it. So in reaction videos, that's really addressing aspirational. It's like, oh, like I want to see what they're watching.
Right. Yep.
But it doesn't really sell, like it's selling the tech. It's not really selling the content.
Well, but it sells the motivation for you to get up.
But it's not. But it's not selling.
You can't sell the content.
But it's not selling like the idea of the content or how the content makes you feel. Really.
Right.
There's a very large web of what needs to happen within advocacy of VR180 as both a platform and an art medium. Part of that is, again, the very almost impossible task of trying to communicate how immersive viewing is fundamentally different from traditional 2D viewing.
Right.
Because to visually express that, like, there have been a lot of there's a lot of like memes and trends on Reels, TikTok-ish, RP maybe, I don't know, whether POV, your girlfriend's really mean to you, and it's like first person from a 2D camera, right? So already the viewers, when they think, oh, POV to a 2D, I've seen that before, I've seen it on a 2D device. They don't understand how stereoscopy and life scale sizing, like how that all transports you into a simulation of. So as I keep saying I'm planning to make all these other advocacy videos, but the thing that I'm trying to communicate in these future videos that I'm planning to drop is selling the idea that we are capturing simulation. We are simulating reality. Because to say that you're going to watch as if you're there, what does that mean, right? But if I say that you are experiencing a simulation where you are in that space,
Right.
Like that packaging is more descriptive to what we're trying to do.
Sure, but until they put a headset on, it doesn't.
Right.
There's not much we can do.
Again, it's a big puzzle.
Right.
Like you need to package the message in 20 different ways in order to connect to different people, right?
Well, this is where Apple is actually helping a bit, even though they're completely walled off and their stuff is not shot great. It looks very good, right? The quality is really high, and the guys that I had in the last podcast, the guys you hooked me up with, they haven't released that video app yet, so I can't say what it is.
Oh, so that episode hasn't dropped yet?
Oh, that episode dropped. We
okay.
just kind of tiptoed around it,
Okay.
But what they're doing, again, quality-wise is great. You're still missing what I think, and what you did great in your video was the feeling of, it's not so much the camera needs to move, but you need to be able to move to the spot. It can't be a setup studio shot. Like the majority of my sports stuff, I'm not walking, but I can get into position in 2 seconds and then come over here. There's this breathing presence of the camera on a gimbal that moves just a little bit. You can barely tell. And I keep bringing up the LeBron footage because that proved everything that I was trying to say, which is scale. The camera's at 6 feet. He walked right up to me.
And you look up.
And you have to look up at him.
Because he's so tall.
Right? Yeah. And then when you turn and walk down the hallway with his kid, there's this sense that you're not supposed to be there. Right? That is something Apple couldn't have shot because, no, they're going to lock it down here and the lights and the crew. And it's like, no, you can't. You have to be mobile. And that was the only way to get that shot is because I looked unobtrusive. Yeah. And part of the magic is staying out of the way.
That was my favorite part of the entire video. Even like, more so than him addressing it, hey VR, get out.
Right.
More so than that. Like more so than like, oh, like look at him, shoot a shot. It's walking through the hallway with him because you see everyone else's scale. You see like how the women are so much shorter, but then like you see how like LeBron is so tall, and the space gives you that feel. And the way you shot it, because it's standing, it gives you like the simulation of that you are in that space.
Right. And there's just a very big difference. You call it virtues, that's great. I call it presence. To be virtually present. It's so different.
Presence, that is the operating term of the feel, the sensation.
Right. Yeah. And so we're on the same wavelength on this. And we gotta talk about your video, which was ambitious as fuck.
Thank you, Tom.
And
done with a budget of whatever was in the pocket.
Of course, right? Exactly. No, and all of this shit is just done with love and no sleep.
And dreams.
Dreams, right. And your transitions, your risk taking in the car to do that, when I say risk taking, you're risking people have motion sickness. So you have to be extremely careful, but you did it very well.
Thank you.
And you avoided the movements that usually people fuck up. I'm such a resolution snob. I wish you had a better camera because there were certain things I'm like, oh fuck, he did all this work, but you proved that you can do it, and it's not just the equipment, right? Yeah. And you did it in dark light, and you did it in all of these difficult situations
with a camera that many complain that like, oh, it can't do this, can't do that. It's like it can do things.
It can do it
if you actually use the camera,
right? And also
don't just leave it on auto settings,
right. Nothing's auto. Oh my god, I didn't even realize they had auto settings on that.
Yeah,
no wonder people are having problems.
Yeah, the auto settings are trash. Yeah.
We agree with almost everything. I'm just bummed that you had a kid and your life changed.
Oh no!
And then you said no. It's so funny. He just had a baby when May.
Yes.
And so he's enjoying that first year of life, which for me I loved.
Yeah.
I fucking loved it, dude.
Loved it. I love it, but it's a lot.
It is a lot.
It's very.
Have you shot anything with her, like just for you? Okay, good.
Yeah. No, like so. let me tell. I've definitely said the story in the last time I was here, but let me repeat it because it's bear repeating. One of the reasons why I remain to do VR180, a big motivating factor early on, because when I first started doing it, I was like, oh, I'm having fun and this is really cool, but I'm getting like 3 views per video.
Oh yeah.
And I went to a mixer of other VR180 creators, and I met this one guy.
Are we not going to say the name?
Oh, DLVR.
Okay.
And I met Carl McClarty, who I subscribe to his stuff,
right?
And he's like one of the best to do man on the street kind of interview content. And I asked him like, dude, what keeps you going? Because like nobody's watching our shit, but the stuff you do is like great, and he does like volume. He was doing like a lot of them at the time, and he goes, I do a lot of interviews, and some of the people that I've interviewed are no longer with us,
right?
And my videos are the closest thing that you'll ever have to being with them again.
Yep.
Right. And he said, like, he looked out in the distance, took a sip, and was like, I'm never going to stop.
Right.
And that sold me. I was like, okay, you are capturing moments in time in a fidelity that is like a 12K flat screen, 2D camera cannot do.
Right.
Right. Because you're recording scale, you're recording so much that no other camera really can.
I'm close to getting Ringo, right? Like I've been pushing Ringo Starr. The guy who got me, Zach Hansen, knows Ringo, and it's so for the same reason.
Yeah.
Before he passes, I need to sit with him while he's drumming,
like
so you can be
even
present.
though you only got a second of Christopher Lloyd, it's like that's pretty amazing.
You get to walk up to Christopher Lloyd and say, "How you doing?" Right?
Yeah. But anyways, I say all that to say that so I was pressured into executing on my music video, whether I was ready or not, because my kid was about to be born.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And and then if she was born like maybe like a year later, last year would have been like a crazy run for me, because like I had so much like, okay, I figured this out, but the birth of my daughter like made me slow down.
It's amazing how much one shoot can help you figure shit out.
Yeah.
And your video was 10 shoots. It's not like a normal go out and shoot something. You had so many different scenes that you learned
done in
a ton.
2 days.
Yeah, no.
But the amount of planning that went into that music video was like months.
This is why I tell other guys, fucking go shoot.
Yeah.
Shoot. The Stereoscope guys. I give them shit all the time. It's like, go shoot.
Shout out Byron, shout out the Stereoscope gang.
We love you. We watch all your shit. I watch all of it in my headset. But only because I like just feeling like I'm hanging out with them. But I live in that thing. So but you have to shoot, and because so you'll fuck up.
Yeah.
And so you learn this, and pretty soon there's a rhythm to it that you gotta keep.
And there's a lot
going.
of problem solving that you have to do. That like, you have to. I figured that out. But anyways, daughter was born, and remembering what Carl said about how about the people that he's lost, but he's able to record them. I made sure that every month I record something with my baby. So I see her. So I've seen her as a newborn, within like how tiny she is, and how like our apartment was in disarray because we're still building furniture.
Right.
And up until now, she's almost 9 months.
Yep.
And so now she's sitting up. So I have videos of her sitting up.
The walk-ins coming. Yeah. Here we go.
And I showed my wife like some of the videos I've caught of her, when she was like 3 months, 4 months, and she was crying in a headset. It's just like, oh my god, like
no, it's the motto of the journey is presence. That's my very first video blog, presence. And how, when I was doing the journey in the 90s, right? And being able to put that on and letting my family be present with my journey, right? Well, now with obviously my kids and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's why I wanted the technology. That was one of the biggest reasons. Like, God, I want to get my kids while they're still my kids. Because my daughter's getting close. And she'll be 13 in September. So she's 12, but she had a huge growth spurt. So she's almost eye to eye. It's kind of, it's really... And she likes to walk on her tiptoes just to make me feel bad. No, it's amazing. But I shot that. I don't know if you saw it. Jared's epic blaster battle in SoFi Stadium with the Nerf guns.
Yeah.
There's a scene where my daughter runs up and said something cute, and when she was 9, and it was like a completely different person. Or like when one in New York, they're running under me, and it's like, oh God, in like 2-3 years they're gonna be. Oh, and I wish I had them when they were a baby.
I imagine that once my daughter's head is big enough and eyes wide enough to get into a headset,
Oh, yeah.
I could just put her in and go, "Hey, look,
This was you, yeah,
this
right?
This is you pooping all over the walls."
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, I've also, man, did I touch this? Oh, I might have fucked this up. I think I screwed up and had that touch the thing. So don't slam. Don't get excited. I just realized. I've had professional cameras their whole lives, so there's a lot of extremely well-produced footage of them that is in movies. So it's not like I lost that, but boy, it's not VR180.
Right.
Oh my God. And, I got to shoot my father and my mother and, you think about those. I wish I had it for my grandparents. There's all those things. And that's another thing is I keep trying to, there's a section of like rich people that should be hiring us fucking like crazy. Like, come on, dude. Like, get your kids while you still can. Get your grandparents while you still can. I mean, do these interviews.
If they're really into XR, they'll probably, bring them to like a volumetric studio of because they can afford it.
Yeah, but my problem with the volumetric studios is that requires you to stand up and move. And I'm still of the opinion we're all pretty fucking lazy. And we'd like to sit in a nice, comfortable chair, put it on, and just look around. That's why I had such a problem with 360. I just, not many people want to walk around. They don't have the space. They just want to sit, throw the glasses on, and check out some video. Yeah. That's why. Well,
there's this app on App Lab for Meta. I forgot what it's called. Grisaya. Where they have Gaussian splat models.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. And there's even like an example of a Gauss splat capture of a video of a guy like who's just like shadowboxing.
Right.
And yeah, shit works. Like
right.
Volumetric video tech is coming. It's getting better, and whether it's like actually like it's captured for real or it's an AI estimation that's extrapolated from stereo data, who knows? But it is coming. And one question I have in my mind is like, will VR180 still ever flourish with this tech impending?
But that's like saying, will movie theaters still be around if video games come in? It's like, guys, it's two separate ideas. It's a different medium. Yes, it'll be very cool one day when you have the glasses on and you can literally in AR put the person you shot in that chair and walk up around him, right? And like it's right there. Yeah. That's very cool. However, I don't think we're ever going to lose wanting to sit down and view even flat movies. Flat movies aren't going anywhere. It's just a different feeling to sit and be entertained or see some documentation or a documentary movie. And I don't think that's ever going away. And I think that's what I was trying to prove in the Living in 2033 video, which is we're going to go back and forth. Mm-hmm. We're going to be looking around in our glasses. We're going to see the stuff floating. Yeah. You're going to drag the video to here, and then you're going to go, you know what? I got a minute. Hit it. Vroom.
So what I like about that, and something that, and it's a discussion that needs to be had more often, is that video is a great example of a future where people have figured out what content is good for immersive. Mm-hmm. And what content should remain 2D, because not everything should be a movie, not everything should be a TV show, not everything should be not like I believe that certain stories and certain ideas have an optimum media.
Sure, but listen.
Wait. So let me make the point.
Right.
So the point is that immersive video is optimal for certain content genres. And the thing is that like we're stuck on a very small portion that works, and many are scared of trying out other things because they'll inevitably fail. But we need that kind of experimentation.
I disagree with you. Okay.
We need that experimentation because, for example, I don't think a 2-hour movie works in immersive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Personally.
I understand.
And but anyways, for example, like how often do you hear like, this anime adaptation to life should have never happened, right? That exists, or the book was better, the comic was better. There's good ways. There's ways to adapt, but for the most part, it's like Last of Us TV show's great, but the game though is like such a good experience.
Okay, it's only because the headsets are uncomfortable right now. You saw them as glasses, right? Mm-hmm. Like when they're just glasses we're all wearing, it's going to shift what you're saying. In the same way, nobody would ever think you'd watch a movie on your phone, ever. In fact, when it was first starting to happen, the director's like, the fuck are you watching a movie on your phone for? I'm not going to play to that. Movies are supposed to be seen like this. I agree. But when you have the choice, sometimes you watch it here, sometimes you watch it that way, sometimes... So, for example, this podcast, right? I can see a world where you put a pair of glasses on, your messages are over here, living in 2033, you see the podcast, you watch it flat while you're ordering your coffee. Mm-hmm. You pause it. It's hanging out in space. You go on your coffee, you sit down, you hit play. You're watching us flat, right?
Are you going to be animating all this?
Well, yeah, I already have it. I already did it in the Living in 2033, right? So you're watching it flat, and if you're like, okay, I got a few minutes, I say immersive, zoom. Now you're sitting here with us, right? Now you're sitting here, we're talking, you hear something else, or because of how AR works, you could literally go like this and look outside of it, and then you come back in, or you could make it opaque, or you could bring it in. You know what I mean? There's all these things a viewer can do.
That'll definitely help.
And then and then you just say, okay, flat. I'm going to be walking now. Mm-hmm. I'm obviously not going to be immersive while I'm walking, but I'd still like to hear it, and I'd still like to see it off in the distance. Zoop, then it goes over there.
Casual viewing is like a big hindrance right now.
Right,
for sure.
Right. So
and AR definitely is like
AR. People. I mean, I just had this argument today. VR's dead. It's all going to be AR. I'm like, guys, it's going to be the same fucking device. It's going to take 10 years, but it's going to be those glasses that are projecting the AR stuff will very easily be able to go zoop, and you're in VR. They're going to have multiple uses.
I agree with everything you say, but what you're saying does not refute the idea that I'm trying to express.
Which is, you said some stuff won't work immersive.
Correct.
And I disagree.
So here's the thing, right? Like, there are people who are making immersive content, and they're treating the camera like a traditional.
Camera,
right?
God, that's a totally different subject.
Right,
but yeah,
but and the way they're shooting it is like, oh, let's get a low shot, If you're gonna do these things and you're just showing me something, as opposed to trying to build the simulation where like I'm there. Right. Then it's like, well, what's the point? This could have been a 2D video.
Right. I think the other problem is not a lot of people are able to edit within VR. And I think there's a big difference in why a lot of my stuff seems to resonate more, right? And I mean, I get tons of, I'm stunned about, I get more emails off of this than my movies, than my documentaries. Because I'm in my headset and I can cut out stuff real quick. Right. You know what I mean? I'm watching it all in full resolution. I'm looking around. And it changes how I tell a story. Whereas if I was just doing it and then editing it flat and then exporting, and then, I don't know if it would be the same.
Like, my point is, there's a lot of things that like, you might as well just do 2D.
Same. You feel this way about the podcast. We've already talked about that, right?
If you're not,
this might as well be 2D.
Yeah, this could be. But the thing is that like when it comes to VR180 podcasts, I understand why, because it's fucking VR180. But but the thing is that like if for example, like when it comes to anime adaptations to live action, it's like, well, you're gonna do like all the CG stuff, but in order to get the fireball looking real, but then like it looks corny, and it's like you might as well just have left it as an anime. And the same can be said about like if you're not utilizing the stereoscopy and everything is like all far away, or you're just doing like a static shot where a person is dancing in front of you, as many VR creators force down your throats.
They just
it's
want
like,
$1.
well,
I mean,
like instead of that, I could scroll like through 200 of those on TikTok real fast, a lot easier, and still get the same effect. It's like, I don't think. I think like VR or immersive video is great when you lean into the strengths. But if you're not leaning into the strengths, then what's the point?
Once the headsets are something that we have on all the time,
it
will shift.
So you're saying once the form factor is trivial, then it's like...
Then the video player will allow you to change. You can scroll, you can do this, you can put it over here. I think more like AI. What's the fucking Tom Cruise movie? Why am I blanking on this? The Tom Cruise
Minority Report.
Minority Report, right?
But the thing is that like the frame, the rectangle frame of 2D is so much more forgiving.
Oh
right?
God, it's a lot easier too, right?
Because of that, like you're able to control the composition way more, and because of that, I feel like that allows so much more for storytelling and narrative, and like if you think about like multiple character story arcs. I feel like that'd be easier to follow in a 2D format, than it would in immersive.
Sure. Now that is a case where you'd be really missing out if you shot it in VR and then you tried to watch it flat. I still think we're going to see a world where you get to choose. And while I, as a filmmaker, don't want you to watch my movie on my phone, on your phone,
right.
I accept that it's there. I accept people do it. And listen, I know a lot of people are watching the VRLOGs like this.
Right.
Makes me crazy.
I say all that not to dissuade any VR180 creators from trying things, because quite the opposite. I need all of us to try as many different genres, different styles of content as possible. Even if it's trash, we need to know.
Right. Yeah.
We need to know that, okay, this does not work. Like, my music video is built on the corpses of a lot of terrible VR180 music videos that I watch for research purposes. It's like, this did not work, that did not work. But why did that not work?
Right.
And then I was able to extrapolate, therefore, I need to lean into this, I need to lean into that.
Which is why I keep saying, shoot.
Right.
I fuck with the stereoscope.
All that being said, that like, documentary and sports and travel, like all that is like, the low-hanging fruit. Obviously this makes sense,
right?
But on top of that, like, I have not yet seen convincing like a fictional narrative yet. I'm trying. This year I'm hoping that's like my big project of the year, but we need to figure this shit out, and we need to make it worth putting on a headset. We need until the form factor is trivial. We need to optimize. We need to figure out like what is the optimum way of packaging this to make it worth putting on a headset. That's the point I'm trying to make.
I'm unhappy with the fictional stuff. I'm unhappy with the faceless lady. I'm unhappy because it didn't have to be, and I feel like they needed to put him in a headset more,
right?
Because all the camera locations seemed wrong. They were lazy. They did not understand that where you could put it, or that when you're telling these stories, you have to be close to the fucking people. Right. This bullshit where you stand it up and everybody just stands around. It's like, good God. And I don't blame the director. I blame the DP, right? I don't think they really understood. Now, I did not see Apple's immersive, the underwater thing. Did you see that one?
No, I saw the Weeknd's music thing.
Yeah, how was that?
Okay.
Okay?
It was it was okay. It could have been phenomenal, but I appreciate all the effort that went into it.
Oh, and money! And oh my God,
the visual effects, beautiful. Weeknd, love his music, but the execution of it is like, there were moments where like, okay, like they're making use of immersive, but then the rest of it is like, this looks like it was destined for like an IMAX theater.
Yeah.
Less so like as a immersive experience, because this is something I've been harping for, and it's a phrase that I'm trying to promote more. It's don't just show, simulate, right? Where in film, TV, writing, they always say don't tell, show, like show don't tell,
right?
Show don't tell.
Right.
But in immersive, if you're just being shown something, if you're just seeing something happen, it's like, well, I could see something in 2D.
Yeah.
I want to. The reason why I, as a VR enthusiast, put on a headset is so I can experience something. I
was gonna say, I always think about it as I'm bringing my 10-year-old kid with me to something, and I want him to see something. And I thought about that the entire time I was doing the LeBron James thing, and I'm like, where would I want him to stand?
Right.
How would I want? Oh, dude, follow LeBron. Like, my brain was like, imagine I'm giving this to him.
You're simulating the experience of you actually being there.
Right, and there is a huge difference. And I'm sorry, but it's not really a lot. Even the stuff that I've shot in the behind the scenes of the basketball or or hockey or football, even the stuff that I shot where I didn't move because it was on a gimbal, it feels present. So I think that's the point. I feel like these goddamn tripods gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta get good with it. You have to get good with a gimbal. You have to understand the movements of it and be here, close,
or
intimate.
If you do utilize a tripod, you have to have the people in front of camera like move in a way that like makes you feel present.
I still feel like I mean, yep, sure, of course, that's true. I have yet to see a tripod shot that wouldn't have been better served with a gimbal and some breathing. There's a I don't know what it's called. It's just like when if I'm standing here, I move a little bit. There's just a little bit of something. It's never like this. And if I was stuck, you're just looking and it loses something. It's a little different here because we're sitting and we're at a table. Right. Okay,
but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like a static shot needs to make sense in context.
Yes.
Like
here it makes sense.
In my music video, like most of those are monopod shots. Some of them are handheld gimbal,
right?
But a lot of those are static shots. But it's within context. It's
person would have been sitting there,
or they would have been standing there, right? So they're standing there while the girl walks up to you and gives you a kiss, or they're standing there in the middle of a dance circle. Like it's within context,
right?
But it's because I am treating the camera as the head of a viewer.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Within space, right?
Yeah.
And like I'm simulating.
Well,
don't just show.
Right.
Simulate.
Yeah,
you're building the simulation.
Right. You have to always have that in mind. And I guess I didn't even realize that's probably been the problem. Is a lot of people don't have that in mind. I never really put my finger on what isn't working, and that is exactly what it is. That's exactly what's not working. And the other thing is, there's a video that came out. Stereoscope had the guy on. I can't remember it. It was one where you had to buy it. I bought it on Quest. It was like a murder mystery. They just did. What was it? There's the last.
It's the one with like the team in Canada with all the stunt people.
Right.
Yeah, I only saw the trailer.
I watched the whole thing. And the movement is. I bought it.
How many episodes was it? Because I remember
I just went through all of them really quick. I can't remember.
Because all I remember him saying was we got better at shooting towards the end, so the first episodes might be trash.
Well, it's not that it's the movement. I got sick.
Yeah.
And I have VR legs.
Yes.
And it was way too. I mean, they were doing the cardinal sin, which is somebody's running and they're running with them this way. So, you know what I mean? If you're going to move, first of all, slow the fuck down. You have to make them go forward.
It's push-pull.
Right. So I've done a walk and talk where the guy's walking and I do kind of a cheat. And the reason I do it that way was because it's the only way to do the walk and talk. But the viewer almost instinctively starts to look ahead. Right? Because if you start to feel a little woozy,
see where you're going.
You watch where you're going, and then you turn to him and listen to him talk, and then that has worked. But they kind of didn't follow any of that shit, and I had to pause it for a second. It was hard to get through, and it sucks. They put a lot of money into it, a lot of, But keep going, keep shooting,
keep shooting. Because I heard from the interview, from what I recall, he was saying that but we figured it out later on, so it got better. So did it?
Yeah.
Did it get better later on?
They didn't make that mistake, but I still have a problem with the static cameras in a situation. It's just, and again, I'm just gonna shut the fuck up and show it, right? Like I gotta do it. I've proved it a couple times with a couple things. I'm in love with the idea that you are watching a drug deal go down. And they don't like that the camera's there, and they're holding a gun to your head while you're watching the drug deal. And it's not so much point of view, but you are aware that you're just kind of watching, you're observing it, but also the uncomfortableness of having a gun to your, so you're creating this.
Was that the inspiration behind your gun to the head video?
Yeah, no, I was so frustrated that people weren't. I don't want you to just talk to the camera, but you're not creating anxiety. You need to create anxiety.
There's an Imagineer quote that goes like this. What was it? It's like fear minus danger equals thrills.
Yes.
And the basis of that is like, you know, haunted houses,
right,
or roller coasters. It's like, it's not really dangerous, but it feels dangerous.
Right. And this is such an amazing medium for being uncomfortable.
Therefore thrilling.
Right.
And you know, like there's like that, that's why like I want to revisit doing like the boxing video.
Right.
And I've been talking to one of my graffiti homies about this. We're like, hey, like let's go, like let me film you.
Oh, that would be fucking awesome.
Let me film you while you go bombing. And he's like, all right, but you know, we do it like in the pitch dark. It's like, my camera can't do it. I'm like,
yeah.
Could I bring a light? It's like, no, bro. Like
they
can't.
really do it in complete pitch dark.
Yeah.
Wow.
And if they do have a light, it's like super dim. It's like something they can control. I
still want to do it. Oh my god, that's so exciting.
Yeah, and
awesome.
And like my current camera, my CAF, is just like it can't film that dark. Like it can, you can do certain things in the ISO and exposure, but like once it's like pitch black,
the
it's
noise,
like,
the noise,
it's just noise.
Insane.
But like I've been like trying to ideate with him for like the past 3 years of like, all right, maybe we can go to this yard, you know, out in Echo Park, or maybe when we go to like somewhere in the cuts, like maybe we go like, you know, somewhere in Pomona, the train yard, like just trying to figure out like how can I film you doing illegal shit.
Right, but again, uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
Like there's something about being present in something. I mean, that's why porn works.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable. It's like, holy shit. Now, if you get off on that, good for you. But like, that's why it works. It seems like she's there. She's whispering in your ear. It's really, it's so out of body. Oh God, right? If you could just apply that to something that isn't porn, I think that's where, you know, that's where the magic is. And that was what that gun video was for. I was just like, I need, and it was great because my kids were freaked out, which was funny. I actually didn't show them for a while. And yeah, they were not real cool. My wife cried. She couldn't stand it. She had to look down. She's like, I can't. It's me, right? Like it looked like me. The lighting was perfect. The focus was.
But I imagine for her, it's like
it's
biggest fear come true.
Oh yeah, like your fucking husband's gonna put a gun to your head. Yeah. It's awful. But again, I didn't want it to be. I wanted there to be a scene behind me that you were stuck as a viewer in. And I think that's, even if you don't do something as obviously POV as putting a gun to their head, creating this sense that you're in the midst of some shit you're not supposed to be in the midst of. That's why the LeBron James thing worked when they went down that hall. You're not supposed to be seeing that, dude.
Yeah.
He goes, hey, have fun. This is your first time, to his son. Like, that's very personal, felt incredibly uncomfortable in a good way. Like, oh, this is special. And I didn't even feel it when I was shooting it because I was concentrating on shooting it. And then when I put it on my headset, that's when I felt this.
But I think what you also captured was authenticity.
Yeah.
Like,
which is also why being mobile helps, because if that's too much.
In immersive, because everything is life scale, you can. I feel like it's more apparent than ever if someone is acting at the camera.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, authenticity is a very difficult thing to capture when you're like, you know, like, of course, he doesn't have a laser gun to my head. Like that shit doesn't exist.
Right.
But fear can still be real. How do you put that in context? It's something that so I'm trying to do like a fictional narrative and trying to make things feel authentic. Like, how do you capture authenticity? The reason why my music video went the way it did is because, like, we all know these people. I know all these people, and like the artist, she knew all these people. These are all places that we actually hang out with.
Right.
These are all people that we know. So everyone's super comfortable, and like we're at a club that like we all regularly visit. So these are all like places that we're comfortable at.
Yeah.
It's really interesting how I got this comment from this guy. He's like, "Oh, I'm 50 years old, and watching this made me feel like a young man again." That blew my mind. That like. He felt the simulation of being young and with a bunch of other young people.
Right, and while that's true even in flat, it's so much more important in VR.
And there are certain people who upload tons of 20-second clips on VR180.
What the fuck, DOVR? Sorry,
of people dancing.
Yeah,
and it's like this is clearly a set. This is clearly like a woman who was paid to be here.
Yes,
like none of it, it all feels very fake, and it just bleeds fakeness through their headset.
I really just think it is. It's just everything gets exacerbated in this format, right? Like if you're good, if you really nail it, boy, it's really gonna feel like you're doing it. If you're bad, oh my god, you're an inch from like it. It's like going on a movie set and seeing bad acting. You're like, oh, this is fucking not good, man. You should see. I shot behind the scenes of a music video being shot. That you should check it out. It says "Present on the Set." That was really cool because you got to see when they yelled cut how those people acted. And that to me was really weird because you got to see what you don't see unless you're on the set, the change. And it's like it made you feel kind of because now they're acting and you're like, oh. And there's that weird, oh fuck, I didn't realize that they changed that way. And you see it in behind the scenes stuff too, but there's something about VR. Or ask any guy on the crew. Boy, he's seen some shit.
Because I feel like because the scale is real. And like you have agency over like where you're looking. Like that all sells to your brain that like I'm there. And you see the the little ticks or what are they doing with their feet, what are they doing with their hands. You see it all. So if someone is like trying to G up on you, it's like, hey, where you from? But then like you see that they have like restless leg syndrome, like
right.
No, I don't believe you, bro.
No, it's true. It's so true. That's why I love. This is just a love letter to why we love this camera. And the love letter can't go on much longer because I got to render all this shit, and I got shit to do. But to wrap things up, this is going to be a better year. I know it's going to be a better year because the seeds I have planted, my God, it's too much goodwill. And
seeing you operate is pretty amazing. That like you're really doing what a lot of people wish they could do. Like you're shooting really cool content and you're meeting all these people. And it's like, oh, this is like super legit. Whereas me, aside from taking care of my little baby,
I know.
Aside from that, it's like, what do I have time for? And what do I want to do? Like, there are VR180 creators who are like, yeah, I'm making money by putting up all these videos for premium, but it's like, but all the shit that you're putting up is like I don't care about. Like I want to make shit that I care about, right? And I really like got to give you your props about how you're doing like your utmost to put out quality at the highest level that you can possibly produce. For the betterment of VR180 as a whole, and you're getting real opportunities and you're making your own opportunities.
Well, and also, if you hit one of my videos, you're gonna know that it's real. I'm documenting something that is actually happening because I'm kind of on this clock of just I have to keep documenting my life because I've done it for 25 years, and that it's organic. And I think even if you're in the car with me when I'm coming back from a meeting. Right? Or I did one in the parking garage and you see the Clippers and then I have to put, overlay of what happened because I couldn't actually show the Clippers meetings. Like, you're there. You're feeling the surroundings and you go away having felt like you were at that meeting. That kind of stuff.
I think if I have a main point to communicate with our esteemed guests over here for 2025 and beyond for VR180, we need two things, right? We need experimentation in diversity of contents, and we need VR180 advocacy. Advocacy being like a big thing that we're missing, because when you look at like VR in general, like VR tech, VR gaming, there's a lot of big content creator advocates. I'm thinking about sadly it's Bradley, Thrillist, Fia. Like there's a lot of people who make 2D content, but like it's advertising VR. Shout out Tech Man. They're trying to show.
Have you hit these guys up? Because I've only had like 2 respond to me.
Right.
And I'm like,
but what I'm trying to point out is that like what they're doing is they're advocating for it.
I want them to advocate for some of the shit that we've
VR180. Like, well, we need people within our own community to be because who's going to advocate better than like people who love it already? That's
why I'm desperately trying to get some of these people. If this FanDuel thing happens, and FanDuel starts releasing the way we're doing it is weekly shoots and almost daily content, and they're releasing daily VR180 content. That's when you get the VR advocacy people to go, oh wait, fuck, something's happening here. That's
what I've been thinking about for myself is like, should I be making advocacy videos? Like should I making advocate content? is really what I've been thinking about for myself. It's like, as much as I want to do a lot of VR180 content, like advocacy content for VR180 like matters a lot, and it's super dry. It's super dry. Like there's none. There's nobody on social, on YouTube saying, oh, these are my top 10 favorite VR180 music videos, or if you like this, you try watching that.
Please, my man. If I could advocate for you to advocate for, I think there is enough out there that you could actually do that, or at least give.
I got scripts. I've been making this would be a good 2D video to make. So one, advocacy for VR180. We need content creators in that space to spread awareness of the platform. Yeah. And two, diversity of content. We need as many people trying new, different shit to see what sticks. Yep. If it's trash, at least you know it's trash. But put it out there. Like if you look at like my first vlog videos, they're not great with a really shitty camera. But the fact is that like I learned a lot from doing that shit.
And this is why, again, I keep bashing Seroscope. They're the only people I do this to, and I keep going, shoot more. I think the only thing they shot last year was a haunted house, and they broke all all the moving rules. And I'm like, God damn it! Maybe like I just make mistakes. Keep going. Yeah, keep going, because the amount of shit that you learn, you know what I mean? I just can't even I don't care. Shoot a story of making coffee. Just shoot it and cut it and put it in your headset and go, oh, this is where they can't, I fucked this up. Oh,
wow. Yeah. And please don't keep saving up for a 5D EOS. It's like, no, just buy a shitty camera. Like learn. Get a views like for $350 on eBay. Yeah. And start from there. There was another point I was going to say is like, you fucking guys, like let's just work towards it, and it's like we're all old. We're all old. Oh, yeah. Like we need young creators. Oh, but all right, so here's my point. Here's the point I remember. Like we need young creators. Yeah. And but it's like it seems so not disparaging to get into, because it seems like it costs a lot. But let me tell you this. Buying a cheap $350 used camera on eBay, this is the easiest way to make VR content. Yeah. In my opinion, it's like you could dump like hours of your life learning Blender. You could dump hours of your life learning Unity or Godot, whatever. Which, great, yes, like these are great skill sets to have. But if you want to make content for VR, the easiest way to do it is to turn on an immersive camera and hit record. Yeah. It really is like the easiest way to do it. If it's good or not, that's up to you.
Yeah. All right. I think that's a good way to end it, because we gotta have to end it.
Hey, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you.
All right. We'll see you guys next month.
All right. Cheers.
Oh, and there's a lot more of these. Please check out my other VRLOGs and subscribe and comment. It means the world to me.